So lately I've been looking at people who have been depressed and suffering grief as a result of loss. And this life is very much one of loss, because everything that's built falls down eventually. Everything that is born dies eventually. And so we have an idea in our minds that we want a future. We don't want things to change. We don't want the people that we care about and love to go away. And so we have a projection into the future, a dream. And when this dream gets challenged, we have a sense of loss occur. But it's interesting to note that what would we be like if we didn't have the dream? What would our grief look like if we didn't have a dream of a future? What would it be like if we were living in the moment without a continuous projection to a later? And so in looking at it, I look at what dreams people have of the future, and how that dream of the future creates an environment where a great deal of suffering can occur as that dream gets challenged, that dream gets broken down. Everybody tends to suffer sadness at loss. But what if we were living more in the moment? What if we spent our life being present instead of in dream? What if we led our life in reality rather than hope? A hope of a later that's going to be pleasant, where everyone's going to be happy. It's interesting to note that the Buddha stated there was two things, main things, against a person becoming enlightened, and that was hope and fear. So if you go into a lot of the temples, Buddhist temples around the world, you'll notice above the front door, "Abandon all hope, ye who enter here," because it keeps us trapped in a future that doesn't exist. It keeps us away from this present moment. It keeps us away from reality, in fact. And so we develop these dreams that have hope attached to them. The hope that things will be good, and the hope that things won't go wrong. And this hope is a form of prison itself. The same as fear is a prison made by the mind, a projection to the future that something is not going to go well. To overcome fear, to overcome hope, we need to live more in the moment. Abandon the dream. Abandon what's not real for something that is real. This moment is real. Our projections are in no way real. They're just dream, made of dream stuff. Yet they're the cause of our suffering, not reality. Reality is just what happens, it's just what is. It's our dreams that cause a problem. So in abandoning the dream for the moment, which is living in meditation, one can become free to a certain degree of a large amount of suffering. But the only way that I know that occurs is if one has a practice of meditation. Thinking it's a good idea, I don't believe has worked for anyone ever. If you have a practice of living in dream, of projecting to the future, that's what you're probably going to do until you die. Unless somehow there's an intervention in that dream. And you're the only one who can intervene. No one can intervene for you. And that intervention is meditation. The practice of being present to something that is real. Anything will do, keeping in mind that the only thing that is not real is what you think. What you think is dream. Your projections to the future and your memories of the past, which are also projections back, are imaginary, not real. The more you live in them, the more likely you are to suffer. The more you live in the moment, the more likely you are to be happy. And so in a way the ball's in your court. Because as you get older, you're going to lose more things. Live long enough, get old enough, you lose everything. You lose everybody you know. You lose your health. Because we don't take anything with us. So, what's it like to have no future? What's it like to have no past? What's it like to be so firmly present that those things seem unreal? Become a meditator and find out. My first spiritual teacher told me that meditation has to be every moment. I thought he was joking. I now know that he's not. Every moment here. Every moment present. After all, becoming present to what's real, whether it's the breath, or your hand movement, or a sound, what's happening around you, prepares you for present moment awareness to that is not moving, not making noise, pure beingness itself, your own true nature, the nothingness, the emptiness that you are. If you haven't prepared yourself for that, it's going to be difficult, because the mind will keep flicking on and awareness will keep going to the dream the mind produces. But if you've prepared the ground, if you've practiced mindfulness and meditation of what's present, what's always here, it's much easier when beingness, the emptiness, the vast emptiness that you are, starts to appear. It's much easier for that to stay. Not that it can go anywhere, but there's less likelihood that the mind will come in with its dream and awareness will go back to the dream. So people get these invitations, glimpses of reality, glimpses of the vastness that we are, glimpses of the beauty that we are, satori. This is an invitation to put aside what is in the way, the obstacle. And there is only one obstacle, and that's the I, the dream that has a future and a past. After all, Buddhism is about enlightenment. It is about waking up to your true nature. It is about getting free of samsara, which is about getting rid of the I. The dream of you. The dream of you, your past, your future. And living as beingness without that filter. That really is just a dream. Not real. Just a dream. I went to Murdoch University some 30 years ago to study Buddhism. Read all the old masters that I could. There's a lot there. Looking for the key ingredient. Seeing if there's anything I'd missed somewhere else. Looking for an answer. And I read book after book. I was there for about 6 months. There's different flavours, different ideas, but they all had one thing in common. One key ingredient. Unconditional surrender of the mind. Every one of them. Putting aside the mind for that is real is surrender. And if you do it enough, the dream fades and reality becomes your reality. So instead of living as dream with a projection forward and back, you start living just here, no projection, awesomely present to what is real, awesomely alive, firmly entrenched in this moment of reality. But it's up to you. Nobody makes you do anything you don't want to do. The choice is yours. How do you want to live? Thank you for Satsang.